Hi there, it's Claire from Clairified Creations, and welcome back to a bit of a major life update video. It has been a while since I've sat down and talked to you all, and a lot has changed in the past week to 2 weeks. It's been sort of crazy, so I'm going to fill you guys in on a few of the things that have changed and what to expect from my channel now. If you're new, I'm a new grad nurse. I graduated back in May. So I wanted to talk a little bit about being a cardiac nurse and my experiences so far in the hospital and what all I've been up to. So let's just kind of talk some about the things that I've learned. I'm 2 months into my career, and let me just say that nursing school does not prepare you to be in the hospital whatsoever. I was talking about this with one of my friends, and we both agreed that we did not get nearly enough hands-on experience while we were in school, and then transitioning into the hospital world. You guys, in school, we do a lot of education, so we've got classes, skills labs, some in hospital training, but a lot of that is paperwork or doing assignments, not actual patient care. And some of the things I've learned with being in the hospital is you've got to be really quick to think, you've got to have critical thinking, you have to be on top of it and always know what's going on with your patient, because you never know when the patient is going to have a million questions to ask you, and it doesn't look good if you don't know the answers to those questions. Even though you look young and some of the patients know that you have no idea what you're doing, you're going to be asked questions. So it's good to read charts and get all the information before you head into a room, or at least kind of know a backstory. That is very helpful, because I've been in situations where I've had to completely make things up and talk about, oh, okay, well, here's what my experiences are. Some of the things I've told people, I have no idea where they came from, but I'm very thankful that I managed to formulate some sort of answer for them. The second thing I've learned is report is very important in the hospital. You have what's called a handoff, which is you just tell them, okay, this is the patient, their name, age, code status, their medical history, why they're there, what their assessment looks like if they're alert and oriented. And something that is very helpful to the staff coming onto the shift is if you give a good report, then they already know that information and they don't have to look it up themselves. Another thing I want to talk about is 12-hour shifts. It is kind of what I expected, but also not at the same time. Your shifts are not going to be 12 hours. Mine were typically 13 to 14, depending on when we were able to hand off to everybody. Because that's another thing, when you give report to another nurse, they could have just one of your patients or they could have all of them. Sometimes my preceptor and I would have to go through 4 different nurses because we had 5 or 6 patients and they were split up between them, and then you have to find that nurse because they might be getting report from someone else. Things do happen at shift change. I had one patient where I didn't hold enough pressure on a bandage when I was pulling out something, and that patient ended up bleeding, and that was a big mess. So always hold pressure on wounds that are open. If you're pulling an IV, a midline, anything like that, it's good to hold pressure. Something that I learned the hard way, and will probably always remember that from this point on. Those are the top 3 things that I learned as a new grad. So that leads me on to my next point, which is going to sound really out of the blue, but I did end up resigning from my position because I was given another opportunity and I got an offer in the pediatric world. So I am very excited to announce that I am moving to pediatrics. And if you have been following along for the past couple years, you know that that's always been my dream job, is to work with kids. I love being around them. I think they're so special, and that population truly does have my heart. And adults, they are great, and we definitely need adult nurses, but that wasn't where I found my joy to be. That wasn't exactly where I felt like I should be necessarily. I didn't leave because the hours were long. I didn't leave because of the people. The staff on that unit was incredible. The nurses were super kind. Everybody was nice to me. I was new. I got an ample amount of training. I never did anything that I felt uncomfortable with. My preceptor was great. I look up to her so much as a nurse, and it was a really, really good experience. I think it's very easy to make assumptions on why people resign from jobs or why people take other opportunities, but I do want to say that I left on really good terms from the hospital. The main reason that I left, I'm not going to be sharing on the internet for privacy reasons. I don't really feel comfortable sharing all of that. This all happened in the span of 3 days, actually technically 2 days. I received an offer on Wednesday evening. I informed my management Thursday, and on Friday my manager pulled me in and told me since I was on orientation I didn't have to give a 2-week notice, and you traditionally do have to give 2 weeks. Since they were training me and they knew that I was going to be leaving soon, they said, okay, well, Friday can actually be your last day and there's no hard feelings or anything. And they told me that Friday at 3:30, and I was working a 12-hour shift, and I had no idea that that was going to be my last shift until then. So I had around 3 hours to prepare for that and say my goodbyes and get my things out of my locker. It was really, really wild. And because of all that, now here's the other part of the news that is wild too. I was thinking about it, and my start date for my new job isn't for a little while. I have a pretty good break between now and when I start my other job. I guess I should probably tell you what my other job is. It is a pediatric office position. So I'm going to be one of the nurses at the office. We'll be seeing all sorts of patients from birth up until 21 or the college years, which is super, super exciting. I left that Friday thinking about what I wanted to do with my time in between now and my next job. Something else that I mentioned in another video, but this video is going to be up first, so I'll tell you guys again, even though you don't know yet. My mom has been in Thailand for the past couple months. She is from Thailand, and she's visiting her family, and she has her parents there. She's been gone for close to 2 months, and I really, really miss her. The original plan was always for me to go with her, but because I had to start work and then COVID happened, I was supposed to go with her a couple years ago, and that didn't happen. So ever since I was really a teenager, we've been planning to go back together. The next time we both said, I'm going to go with you. I'm old enough now. I know I'll remember it and I'll really appreciate it. I used to live in Bangkok when I was 6 years old, but then we moved and I don't remember a whole lot of it. I always knew that I wanted to go back and revisit the place that I grew up in. And you guys, I finally had that opportunity. That night I called my mom on WhatsApp and I said, hey, should I come to Thailand? This is crazy. And she said, yeah, I'd love to have you come. And that next morning I booked a ticket to Bangkok, and I'm flying out tomorrow, this week. I cannot wait to go over there and see her. I'm gonna be staying for about 2.5-ish weeks, so it'll be a nice little vacation. I'm gonna get to meet her family. I have met them before, but I was really little. I met her brother several years ago, so I was a little bit older then. It is the trip of a lifetime. This has been something that's been planned for several years, been canceled so many times, and I'm leaving tomorrow evening. I thought I'd fill you all in on everything that's happening because, of course, I'm gonna be vlogging my experiences traveling. I'm gonna be flying internationally alone for the first time. I did go to Belize back in March, but I went with a group of friends. So this is gonna be a very big step for me as an adult because I'm paying for the entire trip. No one's helping me since I have been working. I did have some money saved up. It was a lot of money, I'll be completely honest. I Never thought I would be spending this amount of money on something like that. But at the same time, I knew that if I didn't take this opportunity now, Mom probably won't go back for another 4 to 5 years, and you never know what stage of life you're going to be in. I didn't know where I would be with my career, or if it'd even be possible to take some time off from work. And since I'm not working right now, I feel like it was an open door, and I very quickly jumped into it and said yes. I am not really the type of person that goes off on a whim and does things. I am 100% a planner. You can ask anybody around me. I love to plan things months in advance, weeks in advance. So having 3 days to plan for an international trip that's 2.5 weeks long has been an adventure. I cannot put into words how excited I am to be going on this trip, how excited I am to see my mom, eat some amazing food, spend some time with family. I'm gonna have a ton of vlogs coming out. I'm gonna do one of my airport experience, and that's something else, you guys. I get to fly on a plane for, I think it's somewhere in the 30-hour range is my entire duration. It's over the course of 2 days, and for some people that probably sounds terrible, but I love planes. I love flying. When I get back, I'll have a little bit and start my new job. It's a lot to process. I still haven't completely thought about everything that has happened over 72 hours. I've got some things to do. I got a couple more errands to run, which is why I'm in the car. I need to go try and find some sandals to walk around in. Chacos, but I don't want to spend that money. I successfully completed my mission and got some shoes for the trip. They're Chacos, but I don't want to spend that money. They're kids, and the design is a little bit different. You can see there's no toe loop. I wanted a pair of decent sandals because we will be walking a lot, and I don't always want to be wearing my tennis shoes if I have something on the nicer side. They were originally $62, and I got them for $40. I did try them on and they were pretty comfortable. Quick thing to say, my morning routine as a nurse while I was still at the hospital will be posting soon. That is before all of this happened, just to keep that in mind so you know what to expect video-wise. And I do have, I think it's 2 vlogs. Okay guys, I will see you on the other side of the world, probably from an airport next. Bye!